Hey guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Rich. The name of the channel is Rich the Return Rider. Today guys, I'm a return rider back here at the Robert Simmons Paying It Forward. Uh, Forgive the background noise, there's a plane passing over. But today guys, this is my third time back here to this practice. Today we're with the 2019 Honda Goldwing Ruby, my wife's baby. Again, her request that I get a little bit more practice on this motorcycle to help make her a little bit more comfortable. Guys, so we're coming out, we're going to have somebody critique me on some of the techniques and the stuff that I'm doing that knows a lot more about this stuff than I do. And this was long plan. We finally been able to get out. Schedules conflicted. But again, guys, I'm here practicing what I preach when I talk about the safety and so forth and practicing on this motorcycle. I do have my grandson Jamarco with me here again. And depends on how the day goes, we're going to probably try to get some footage with us doing two up, depends on how it goes. So again guys, one of the concerns that we have here today is before I came out, I always wanted to get more protection for the side of the bags and so forth on the Honda Goldwing. The stock drop guards doesn't really do the job as far as the bike going completely over. If the bike goes over, you're damaging the rear, the quarter panel right here of the bags, and also the mirror. One of the focus today is that don't happen. That's one of the priorities today. Of course, safety first. But anyway, guys, Rich the Return Rider out. We're going to bring you some footage as we do some of these exercises here. All right, guys. So, guys, here we are with the first exercise. This specific exercise, guys, what we're going to do is we're going to get up to second gear, and we're going to try to come to a smooth stop. Now, as you guys can see on that stop there, I use no front brake. We'll be relying on these link systems on these new motorcycles, guys. That's one of the things we got to be careful of. So here is my second run, and as you guys can see, I downshift there, use the front brake, and then transition over to the rear brake. So we're looking at here, guy. This guy is Calm. His name is Calm. He's from Columbus, Ohio. Him and the buddy trailer, they bikes all the way from Columbus, Ohio down here to do this course. And what Robert is explaining to him there, guys, is that he's using more front brake than he wants him to. So when you're coming to a complete stop, guys, you're using rear brake only. Initially, over 15 to 20 miles an hour, you'll be using mostly the front brake, but also front and rear brake. But before the bike comes to a stop, guys, you need to be able to transition into the rear brake for stability. Guys, this is the first run that I did where I didn't use any brake. The angle you're seeing is my grandson, 14-year-old grandson Jamarco, using the iPhone. A lot of the videos is going to be with Jamarco using the iPhone to get some of this recording. On rare occasions, I'm going to be using the Insta360 just to give you guys a different point of view. So guys, the next exercise here is exercise 3. We actually skipped the slow ride. Again, that's an exercise that is important that you can practice anytime you're out. It's supposed to simulate coming up to traffic or coming up to a light. Just being able to ride really slow, as slow as you can, pretty much at a walking distance without the motorcycle or putting your foot down is the key thing on that specific exercise, the slow ride. But what you're looking at here, guys, is the exercise that Robert called Trust and Believe. This is exercise 3. And the key with these exercises, guys, is he's built them in sequence here to get us comfortable with using the basic techniques that we're going to be using for all of these exercises going forward. On this exercise here, the deal is to have the motorcycle feel like it's falling and being able to take off with your feet up before the motorcycle starts to fall. There's a couple of steps involved here. As you can see, I'm pulling up with the Honda. We're going to bring you a view from the Insta360 camera looking down going through the 5 steps that's involved in this exercise here, as he talks about it. So guys, for everything we do, we're going through different steps. Exercise number 1, coming to a stop, using the rear brake to stop, putting our left foot down, always hovering the rear brake, keeping the bike in gear. And I guess that's simulating, guys, and you're at a stoplight, and there's cars and stuff coming up behind you. You want to always have the motorcycle in first gear in case you have to, you have to protect yourself in moving off. This guy here is Mike. Mike is actually an instructor in the Columbus, Ohio area. I'm sure this is a new exercise to him here that he's going to be taking back to his students. But guys, as you're going to see throughout this whole video, Mike is an excellent rider. This guy does have full control of his motorcycle. He is the boss of his motorcycle. So here we are, guys. My second attempt. Guys, I'm going to bring you a little footage here now from the Insta360 camera going through the steps. Here I am moving off, which will be exercise 1. We're going to be pulling up, stopping using the rear brake, put our left foot down, and we're going to go through these steps. First of all, we're going to make sure the bike is in gear. I'm putting a little bit of pressure on the rear brake. As you can hear, I'm preloading and keeping it loaded. Head and eyes straight. Bike is in the friction zone. As soon as I pick my foot up, I release that clutch into the friction zone, so there's power going to the rear wheel. Guys, you're going to be seeing on the front of my windshield there. I apologize now in advance. What you're looking at there is my GoPro Hero. I wanted to make sure I get this footage here. It's been a long time coming for me to do this video, trying to encourage folks to get out and do these practices. Again, guys, folks that might be watching my channel but haven't heard of Robert Simmons Paying It Forward, this is exercise 37. I'm encouraging you to go and watch all of his videos. For any motorcycle rider, guys, this is Motorcycle Riding 101. Here we're getting this information from a retired motor officer from the New York City region. And guys, I totally buy into this system here. What you're looking at here now, guys, is right and left turns. We're gonna be doing different styles of this here. We're gonna be doing stops and making a complete left turn in this case here, with the bike being as straight up as it can be. I did come to a stop there. What you're looking at, guys, is a 90-degree angle turn there with cones about 7.5 feet apart. Robert spends lots of time on this exercise. It simulates a lot of different things that we could encounter on the streets. If you're in a tight area to make a turn and there's a car, truck, or anything at the corner, a pole, and the bike needs to be upright so the bags doesn't get caught as you're turning. This exercise simulate that. One of the things that it simulates was, I remember one of his riders was at his class, and he referred to making a turn at an intersection and a car stopped. And this guy had a pretty expensive motorcycle, nice pipes on it, a Harley with a sound system, and I just can't envision dropping in that bike in the middle of the streets. And definitely won't want to drop it if my loved one, if Lauren was on the back, or anyone. Thing about it, guys, is a lot of these practices simulate stuff that we can encounter on the streets. Now, first of all, if we were looking through that turn using our head and eyes, we should have probably seen that car before we got there. But you never know, you might be right behind the car and the car might stop for whatever reason. So here we are now going to the right. I'm usually struggling more going to my right than going to the left, but getting used to the brakes on the motorcycle is something that I got to get used to. No excuses, but I use way too much rear brake to control the motorcycle than I should be using. If you watch Mike goes through there, he's nice, fluent. There's no jerking of the bike or anything like that. As you can see here, I kind of do a stop and go because I'm heavy on the brakes. Lots of things that I have to work on, guys, and as much as I practice at home, coming out to these classes, man, still shows how much more stuff I need to learn. And that's why I think it's important to actually come out to these classes. I mean, it's great to have field guys and so forth, and you go out to a parking lot and practice, but there's nothing like having someone that knows better than you show you what you're doing wrong for something else for you to work on. So again, guys, watch this guy, Mike. Effortless. Boom. Alright, guys, a little bit more control there. I'm pretty happy with that one. Again, you notice I said that one means I'm not consistent with executing the drill. So guys, I'm going to reach out to some of my wife co-workers, Roberto for one. I did mention this a while back to one of her co-workers, Roberto, about getting out and doing these classes. Introduced her to the channel. Introduced him to the channel. Roberto was a new sports bike rider. So guys, as you can see there, a little unstable putting my foot down. Bike a little off balance there. And you know, again, guys, she also have another co-worker that just bought a Harley. Again, have a fear of dropping his motorcycle, his new motorcycle. I think did the basic safety class, and that's pretty much it. Gonna encourage him again, guys. When I'm encouraging you to do these classes, I am gonna always recommend that you know, have some protection on the motorcycle, so you know the fear of dropping it is not one of the things that you're concerned about in these classes. For the Harleys, there's plenty of protection out there. For Roberto with the sports bike, he might be in the same position that I'm in with the Honda Goldwing. But you know, look into it. Look how smooth that stop was with Mike. And here, on the contrary, you can see as I made the turn there, my wheel was still over to the right. And Robert did mention that. You stop like that with the motorcycle handlebars turned to the right. You're not going to be in a good position for stability on the motorcycle. Again, guys, that's why I practice. That's why I go out to these classes. That's why I'm a big fan of this stuff here. And that's why I encourage it. A little better stop there. A little bit more under control. But there we go, jumping on that rear brake again. And I don't know if you guys can hear, I know the Honda Goldwing is a pretty quiet motorcycle, but for the most part, my throttle remains a little too low. Okay, a little better stop on that sweep and stop right there. Anyway, guys, like I said, I'm doing this stuff here on this video again for someone that might be watching my channel that doesn't know about the Robert Simmons Paying It Forward, guys. There's multiple channels out there like this. You got Ride Like a Pro with Jerry Palladino. You got Mojitsu guy. I don't know where this guy is located, but he have a channel out there. He calls himself Fast Eddie. So, guys, we move on here now to the next exercise. So with this exercise, the last exercise 4, we were encouraged to keep the motorcycle straight up. Here we got Robert executing what he calls, what they call the single serpentine. This is the exercise, guys, with cones that's 15 feet apart in a straight line. And it encourages you and it forces you to lean the motorcycle as you're going through the cones. For the folks that try to do this with the motorcycle upright, they do get into the position of clipping the cones as they go by them. And this is an exercise designed to make you a little comfortable leaning the motorcycle. And here again we have Mike as he's weaving through it with no problem, making it as smooth and as easy and effortless as possible. Now this exercise, guys, once people get in the parking lot and they start setting up cones and so forth, seems to be something that they practice quite a bit. We were all successful at going through this exercise. It's something that I practice quite a bit, even though when it came to the follow the leader, this was one of the first exercises, and I did clip the first cone. Was a little annoyed by that, but that's okay. I mean, again, like I said, exercise that I'm pretty comfortable with, but it'll show you if you don't practice enough, you will make those mistakes. Again, guys, didn't spend a lot of time on this exercise. The exercise that's missing from this here, guys, is the U-turn. Again, if you go to Robert Simmons Paying It Forward, exercise 37, you'll see all this stuff in detail. He's breaking everything down. He's showing all of us, and he shows my struggles in that one as I was trying to make an 18-foot U-turn with this motorcycle unsuccessfully. Again, we watch somebody like Mike doing it even from a stop, making 18 feet and less. I think he did probably 17, something like 17 feet at one time. Anyway, guys, so now we are moving on to my Achilles heel here. Now Robert is demonstrating, this is called the offset weave. With this exercise, guys, the motorcycle is never going straight. You're always turning from one side or the next. But if you listen to his throttle, you would hear that he always have the throttle up, which is always having power in reserve. He's reversing the exercise now, showing us how really not to approach the cones by going directly at the cones. He calls it working harder and not smarter. And that's what I do, guys. I go directly at the cones, forcing me to lean the motorcycle more than I need to. And probably one of the things that cost me in this exercise. Before we start this, guys, I'm going to give a special shout out to Robert Simmons' buddy. His name is Wood Jr. I remember when he came out in one of the earlier exercises with his Harley, he also bought some pillows out from his house that he actually taped to the side of his bags in case he dropped his motorcycle. That would have probably been beneficial for me, and as you'll see in a little while on this next exercise. So here again, guys, we have Mike going through this exercise, executing it flawlessly. Poetry in motion, guys. This guy's making this stuff look so easy. And I'll be honest with you, guys, I'm not jealous, I'm not envious of him. It encourages me to get out and practice. I'm competitive by nature. You know, I like to feel that I'm at the best that I can be. And with motorcycle riding, I am not even close. So here we go, guys. Mike was getting ready to reverse the course, and Robert asked him not to do it so I can get out there and start my dilemma. So guys, don't know if you noticed here, right now I feel like I got plenty of speed. The throttle is again going up and down, which I refer to as throttle blipping. I did it more and more on the boulevard. And as you can see there, guys, not only the bike was dropped, but it went over on the bags and also touched the mirror. And I'm going to show you that right here. I guess the minimal damage done to the mirror was because the mirror was folded in. But let's talk about what I was doing here. As you can hear the throttle going up and down. I think I'm a little heavy on the rear brake. And there she goes, over for a nap. So guys, when Robert came over to me, he asked me what I did wrong. I did explain to him that I was throttle blipping, but as I watched the video over as many times as I did, I realized that I was probably a little heavy on the rear brake, didn't have enough power going to the rear wheel. I was getting ready to say momentum, but again, guys, it's a slow course, but we still have to have a certain amount of speed. You know, when I'm watching Jerry Palladino's videos, he talks about doing about 8 to 10 miles when you're doing some of these maneuvers. And again, guys, I don't think they're talking about momentum. I definitely believe they're talking about having enough power and speed so that gravity doesn't take over. I have failed in that execution. So again, guys, with not getting the bike damaged as a priority here, I have failed that task. So I'll tell you guys, one of the things that we have here is we have minimal damage on the mirror. I was able to buff out minimal scratches. The bags do have a little deeper scratches that I'll try to attempt to get out on my days off of work. But you know, again, I prefer that happen here than it happens out on the street somewhere. And again, I was lucky that the bike wasn't sliding when that happened. I did see a video with a guy that have some modified bars on his bike, and with the modified bars that were on, he actually showed that Honda Goldwing actually sliding. Apparently, he had some damage to his bags and so forth previously before he had this modification done. I would be reaching out to a fabricator in Orlando area, some guy that I used to do some racing with, that and see what we can come up with as far as some drop guards for this motorcycle. So guys, on the next video that I do, this video is already pretty long, as we are watching Mike here, and I'll go through the course again. But we're gonna be talking to my wife Lorna. This is her motorcycle, guys. If not for her riding in the back of this motorcycle, I will still be riding the boulevard and quite content with it. On the trips that we're going to be taking, the goal is to make her as comfortable on the motorcycle as possible. So learning to ride this Honda Goldwing is going to be priority. And my grandson did say to me, "Oh, Nana is going to be so mad when she sees that scratches." So we're going to talk about what Lorna thinks about the drop, what she thinks about the course, and so forth in the next video. On my days off, we'll be doing a video. I'm going to show you the minor damage that was done to the bike, and we're going to have a talk with the wife to find out what she thinks about this, about my execution here. Now, we both did sit down and we watched this video on Robert Simmons Paying It Forward, practice 37, and Lorna was quite critical of a lot of the things. I'm my biggest critic, guys, but my wife do see some things sometimes that she's getting into this stuff that I haven't noticed. And she's been quite opinionated on some of the things that she saw me doing that she thought I could have done better. And again, she doesn't ride motorcycles, man, but as a navigator, trust me, guys, she's quite in tune with what's going on and what needs to be going on. And has been a big advocate for trying to get her co-workers out to come out and do these courses that ride motorcycles. All right, guys, let's look at the head and eyes turn here. Jerry Palladino have a video out with his wife riding the Dragon, watching some folks in front of her crash. And he talked about folks in his class. He shows a video with folks in his class with these big old expensive motorcycles, and they're afraid to lean the motorcycle, and most importantly, not using their head and eyes. Apparently some of the biggest single motorcycle accidents by motorcycle riders are failure to negotiate a curve. And according to Jerry Palladino, it's because they don't know how to use their head and eyes, and they're afraid to lean the motorcycle. So again, the head and eyes things is still something that I am trying to get proficient with. I definitely don't have a fear of leaning the bike, maybe to a fault. So guys, how beautiful is this? We are watching now what is called the abominable snowman, and we are watching Robert here execute it. As you see on the last turns, that's an 18-foot circle, and he's literally scraping the boards while he's making that turn. And he did say to me, "Don't attempt this with the Goldwing," and he had no problem. I had no problem obeying those orders. It wasn't something I was thinking of. Not 18-foot U-turns or 18-foot circles. But guys, so here we have Mike. Mike failed on a couple of his attempts. I'm sorry we didn't get his successful attempts on video, but again, guys, go to Robert Simmons Paying It Forward and you can see this stuff in detail. There's quite a bit of stuff I had to leave out here because of the editing factor. But guys, I think these things are probably like, I know the last one is 18 foot. I think the one prior to this one might be 22 feet, if I'm not mistaken. The second one would have been 24. And the first one is either 27 or 28 feet. Now here's my first attempt. Of course, unsuccessful. But you know, I'll try and try till I try to get it. I cut myself short there on that right-hander, so didn't have enough space to turn. Here's the next attempt. I think I failed this one also, if I'm not mistaken, but that's all right. That's all right, guys. We'll get it. We won't get the 18 foot, but we'll definitely get the 22 feet one. Here, I think I finally got it. I think I clipped a cone in the 22 foot one, but was still able to circle back around and clear that space. With Robert there showing me where to go. Wow, look how close that have to be, guys, to be able to try to make this turn. So here's the successful turn on this one. And guys, I was pretty happy with that. But anyway, guys, again, I'm always going to be encouraging people to come out and do these classes. You don't have to challenge yourself to this extent. I think I was out one time with one of the guys that had the DCT Honda Goldwing, and that guy did pretty awesome. He didn't attempt none of the real challenging stuff, but he was successful in doing most of the course with no problem. I still have a lot of practice to do, and I'm enjoying the journey, guys. I'm not happy that I damaged the motorcycle, but you know what? It's all in the game. Now, guys, I gotta tell you, too often I'm hearing about guys that's talking about not dropping their motorcycles. A lot of these motorcycles, man, are $30,000-$40,000. We got pipes on them. We got all kind of expensive stuff too on them. And you know, learning to ride them, guys, I think should be the most fun. You know, it's nice to have the beautiful bikes and so forth, but again, it's not a rodeo or anything, but it's a matter of trying to stay safe on the motorcycles. And until we can be the boss of these motorcycles, we are really putting ourselves more in danger than we have to out there. Nobody's going to dispute that riding motorcycles is a dangerous thing. But what's more dangerous, guys, is not being able to control what we can, especially out there on the streets. And where that stuff begins, guys, is right here on the cone course. Like I said, it's important for me to share this journey with me getting back into riding motorcycles with my viewers, encouraging them to do the stuff here that I'm doing. And you know, guys, like I said, this stuff wasn't, I'm sure it might have been available back in the days when I rode sports bikes, but as many guys as I rode with, nobody ever talked about doing an advanced or intermediate safety course. But there we are on some of the fastest bikes, really, that's designed for tracks. We're out there on the streets going at some really ridiculous speeds, and the motorcycle is riding us as opposed to us riding the motorcycles. So guys, I'm going to give a special shout out here now to MC Rider, a guy named Kevin from the Fort Worth, Texas area that also teaches this stuff. Puts videos out every Friday on something that he focuses on more than these. Of course, he practices and he preaches this stuff. As a matter of fact, he's now doing competitions riding competitions and so forth, and he's excited about that. But his strategy, guys, is more focused on road strategies. Videos out every Friday. MC Rider. Road strategies. Ride like a pro. Jerry Palladino have a video out there called Surviving the Mean Streets. Guys, this guy's wife is an awesome rider. And the thing about it is, man, I'm sure if he thought of motorcycles as dangerous as the whole world think motorcycles are, he wouldn't be encouraging his wife to ride. But, we know that motorcycles are dangerous, guys, but there are things that we can do out there. Again, I don't care what you ride. I'm going to always advocate putting some protective stuff on your motorcycle to protect it. But even more importantly, getting out and doing these classes. So anyway, guys, Rich, the Return Rider, Happy New Year. Hope you guys enjoy this video. Watch for the upcoming video to see the damage on the motorcycle. And again, get my wife's opinion on what she think about this whole scenario. Rich, the Return Rider, out. Don't forget to subscribe, guys.